Hey space travelers, are you ready to go on discovery with me and learn about the dark secrets of Mars? Or are you afraid to discover the whole truth? Imagine the following scenario. It's 1976, you're working for NASA and are currently waiting for a Viking 1 satellite to send some pictures of Mars, Cydonia region. It is 3 in the morning and you are tired as hell. Once the picture is delivered to you, you have to check it out, confirm the higher-ups that it was delivered, and then go home and sleep. You are already imagining how warm the bed and how soft the pillows will be. And then, the satellite finally sends the picture. And then, you see this. I would kill to see the face that saw the picture for the first time. It's no wonder that after seeing something like that, many people think Mars could be inhabited by a highly advanced civilization, or that there might have been life on Mars in the past, and now all of them are extinct due to some kind of cataclysm. Or you might theorize that there could be a rocket or two sent to Earth with refugees that not only survived but thrived in their new home planet. Hello there, fellow astronauts! Welcome to yet another conspiracy theory video that happens to have a lot of space-related stuff in it. The main questions for today are, was there life on Mars and could some Martians have made it to Earth? And the main question will be, are Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk from Mars? Get comfortable, relax, and get ready to be excited in yet another conspiracy theory, because we can't possibly prove this theory even if it's true. Just like our home planet, Mars also is close enough to the Sun that any potential life could have survived in the past. There are many signs that at some point in a distant past, Mars was a green planet. Or, if not a green planet, it was bluer than it is right now. The landscape lines, which even you and I can easily find on the pictures of Mars, those lines could have been the riverbeds, where once water flowed. Why water, and not acid or something else, you ask? Because Mars is red, and that red is not because the sky gods decided it would look good, but because the surface of the red planet is filled with rust. And as you know, rust comes from iron. The way iron turns into rust is when it is touched by the oxygen and water. So, there is a reason why those lines were likely riverbeds, and those rivers were made with water. Since we already mentioned it, there is no escaping it. Oxygen is one of those crucial elements needed for the iron to rust. Imagine just how much oxygen there was for the most of the planet to be filled with nothing but rust. So, this gives us two of the most important elements for any life we have here on Earth. For any life to exist, it needs to drink water and breathe. If we assume that my explanation of why Mars is red has some merit to it, then we could assume that at some point there were vast amounts of water and oxygen on the surface of Mars. Currently, we have no idea how life began on Earth, and how the first one-celled organism came to be is still a mystery. Unless you bring in God. But scientists don't like talking about that guy. So if we assume that life can happen anywhere given the ingredients are there, we can reasonably assume that Mars could have had life on it in the past. Now, this video doesn't sound as crazy as you thought, does it? Part 2. The decimation. But if life did exist on Mars, what happened to it? There could be as many answers as there are possible ways to foretell a sentence in English. So, let's go with the most likely scenario. Believe it or not, Mars looks a lot like what Earth might look like in a few million years. Many scientists theorize that Mars could have been just like Earth a long time ago. But it had the same problem we face today, that being climate change. Whether you think it's our fault or just the natural cycle of the Earth is indeed getting warmer. If it continues to get warmer and warmer, in a distant future, the water can evaporate and the Earth could become another red planet, for the same reasons as Mars did. So if we believe that there was life on Mars, then their extinction and Mars death could be explained by the climate change. The question then becomes, could that life have been advanced enough to build things? If not, then that's a good sign that climate change here is not our fault. If potential Martian civilization existed, then everything becomes more complicated. That picture from the beginning of the video could be a picture of a massive Sphinx-like structure that a Martian civilization built for one reason or another. This would explain a lot of weird stuff you could see on the pictures of Mars, taken with many different satellites. So, if we assume that an advanced civilization did exist, a civilization that built that phase structure, then we can ask the following question: how advanced did a Martian civilization become? Right now, we are the most advanced civilization in the universe. It took us about 10,000 years since we developed the written language to reach the moon and understand at least some part of quantum mechanics. Both Earth and Mars are very old, so any Martian civilization would have plenty of time to develop space travel and maybe even reach the closest habitable planet. Which planet is closest to Mars and quite habitable? Of course, it is the Earth. After landing on Earth, the Martians could have seen the wonderful environment, built the pyramids for some reason, and the Sphinx for the same reason they built that phase structure back on Mars. And they decided to stay and live here, as their home planet got destroyed by itself. This might sound crazy, but we could be alien on this planet, and humanity could have started on Mars. Where did the advancement and the knowledge of our ancestors Martian go? Well, that could have been explained by the numbers being low. Many natural disasters that killed even more of them. And over time, people decided to live a simpler life than that of an advanced civilization. Or it could be a second version of this story. It could be that Martians are still alive, but live underneath the surface of Mars. What if they tried to reach Earth before Mars got inhospitable, but failed? Or maybe one or two ships made it to Earth, but not in the past, but a future, or rather in a present. What if some of the most famous and wealthy people on Earth are like that because they have advanced knowledge of things that we simply don't? What if people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg are one of those few that managed to get to Earth and are now trying to get back to their home? What evidence is there for this theory to be true? Well, first is the fact that Elon and Jeff are trying their best to develop technology that will make it possible for them to reach the Red Planet. Why are they rushing to the Red Planet when there are Moon and many other celestial bodies? Well before you reach Mars. And as for Mark, he isn't trying to get to Mars, at least openly, but you can't deny that he looks a lot like an alien, a lizard, or something like that. So, if he is indeed from Mars, it would make sense for him to look like that. All three of them are extremely wealthy, and all of them managed to do something very hard to do. They either invented something that captivated billions of people, created reusable rockets, or a supply chain system so complex that it inevitably became the monopoly. One of those would be something that Martian astronauts would need to know just to get to Earth. Part 4. The Confession. If you are open-minded, you probably got excited by the ideas presented to you in this video. But you probably didn't believe any of them. and that is a very good thing. Every idea could be disproven by having the information we deliberately left out. Like the fact that one of Mars rovers reached the actual place that looked like the face from the beginning of the video and took pictures of it. Turns out it's just a bunch of rocks and nothing else. And the reason you see a face there is because of something called pareidolia, the moment when our brain sees faces where there isn't any. If Mark Zuckerberg ever sees this video, sorry man, but you look weird. And to think that Mark is Martian or a lizard just because he looks like a cold robot is just fun and nothing else. Consider subscribing to the Space Wars. There are many more conspiracy theories to go through, and there will be many more opportunities for me to make fun of Zuck. Thank you for watching, have a beautiful day, and remember that Martians don't exist, especially they aren't here on Earth. Or are they?